Y'all, we are back. I have power and I am so happy. Yes, baby. Yes. I want to take a minute to ask y'all to pray for everybody in the Mississippi communities that do not have power. There are still thousands without power, and I am blessed to have my power back. I only had to go about 5 days without power, but it's some people that's on day 10 of no power. So again, keep them in your prayers. But I'm trying to catch up on these show reviews. And in this episode, we finally get introduced to Madison Truitt. And it looked like she is going to be hot after Rich to me. Then we get more into Danny's situation. But we're going to talk about it. So let's get into this show review. Hey, Chatterboxes. Hey, I'm Nele, and welcome to Easy Convos, your cozy spot where we kiki about the latest TV shows, both scripted and reality, pop culture, and what's buzzing on social media, baby. So get comfortable. Grab your snacks, your tea, your favorite blanket. Hit that like button, click that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload. Today's Easy Convo, well, with just a little bit of kiki, is Tyler Perry's Sistas Season 10, Episode 4, Safety Blanket. So y'all know I like to start at the bottom and work my way to the top, to the meat and potatoes. So we're going to start off with Maurice. Pam went over to Maurice's to raise his spirits up some, because you know his spirits are down because he's missing Sabrina, feeling some kind of way, nervous about going to see her at the hospital. Dylan was still with Paige, and again, he was just lonely. But Maurice is still scared to go to the hospital and see Sabrina because, like, he basically don't want to break down and do all the ugly crying, snotting and sniffing and what have you or whatever. But he does feel, though Sabrina may be in a coma, she will be able to hear him if he goes and talk to her, because he read that somewhere. And I've always heard that was true. And I have always heard that when people are unconscious, they still can hear you. So I think it's a good idea that he go and sit by Sabrina's side and uplift her. Then something I want to hit on is, I call her a social worker or caseworker at the hospital, I guess you call it. She came by to see how Sabrina was doing, and the nurse was outside of Sabrina's room. And the woman wanted to know, has anybody been? And the nurse told her, like all of Sabrina's friends have been there, been coming to see her. The caseworker is trying to find blood relatives of Sabrina's. Now, listen to me when I say this. I feel like this is going to bring a new storyline for Sabrina if TP lets her survive and don't take out the show. I still think, and I'm going to hold on to my thoughts, is that she going to make it. They just can't let her go. I can't let her go anyway. Anyway, so I feel like Sabrina will have a visit from like a long lost relative. She'll be reconnected to somebody. I don't know if it'll be her mama, her dad, some long lost siblings. Somebody's going to come new into the picture, giving us a new storyline for her. And I think that, and I'm going to stick beside it. Anyway, the caseworker, social worker, whichever one she is, wants to know, like Sabrina's next of kin, just in case. Sabrina has Danny as her next of kin, but she doesn't have anyone listed who can make medical decisions for Sabrina. So the social worker is going to keep digging and see if she can find a blood relative for Sabrina. Again, I think this is going to bring back a new storyline. It'll be in a different season, but bring it back. Now, let's talk about Zach and Fatima. They are in bed as usual. I feel like that's their storyline, is to be in bed, okay? But anyway, Zach and Fatima are startled awake by a bunch of loud noise outside, but Zach didn't see anything out there. Zach on edge after Andy's car has been blown up and worried whoever may come back to his house and harm mainly Fatima. He ain't really worried about himself. But Fatima suggested that they send a message to let it be known they not the ones to be messed with. Maybe prove a point or even make him disappear. Now, just how does she plan to do that? Is she gonna call Madam? Because y'all know I'm here for Madam being called, okay? Fatima is pretty sure it was Dr. Cruz who had Andy's car blown up based on the messages Andy got right before the car exploded. Well, I should say message, not messages, but right before Andy's car exploded. Now, Fatima has started to feel the baby flutter, and she wants Zach to come over and see if he can feel. Of course, he couldn't feel it, though he tried. She's fixing herself something to eat and doesn't want to share. Now, I can't blame her. I don't share my food when I'm not pregnant. But when I was pregnant, baby, I didn't play about my food. Get your own. If I ask you if you want something, you better say yeah, because mine is not for you. Okay, Fatima has to study and some studying to do, but wasn't too thrilled about Zach going to hang out with Mr. Keys' child. She doesn't want Zach getting all invested in Mr. Keys. Maybe he needs to get to know Mr. Keys better first before getting into the mentorship. And Zach just want to know what got her all worked up over Mr. Keys. And I just want her to drop the bum and be like, Zach, I heard him say you was his only son. Just go on and drop it to him, because I feel like he going to be mad to find out that she knew or had a suspicion and didn't tell him. But Zach promises to pay attention and be aware of Mr. Keys. But we'll see how that go. Then he gonna take a piece of Fatima's food. She told him she hoped he choked, and then Zach pretended to be choking and scared Fatima half to death. I really didn't think that's funny. I don't think that was nothing to play about. But yeah. So then we have Rich. So now we get to the other new sister being introduced, which is going to be Madison Truitt. So Madison went to Fuel, which is Rich's smoothie bar, in search of a partnership or collaboration. She, so what is she gonna do? Like, what is her career? Does she own a healthy spa, a yoga studio, or something to do with fitness that it will intertwine with Rich's smoothie bar? But anyway, Rich made Madison one of his new smoothies and she liked it. Madison finds Rich to be funny and cute, wants to know if he's single. Rich let her know it was complicated. So Madison was yet being nosy because she don't mix business with pleasure anyway, while she keep asking if he's single. But she wants to cross promote with Fuel or collaborate because of both of their businesses focusing on having a healthy body from the inside and out. So she said. They move on to more small talk. Madison is from Atlanta, but went to school at Xavier in Louisiana and stayed there for a while because she just liked the down south. But anyway, she came back home to Atlanta because her parents are aging, yet healthy, but aging. And basically, she wants to spend that time with them. She wants to be around her parents while she still has time, so she don't be that person at the funeral laid over the casket crying and screaming and hollering because she wasn't there. But anyway, they continue to talk and will look into a collaboration to cross promote their businesses. Now, hurry up and tell me what kind of business she got. I ain't got all that. I ain't got all the time or whatever. I'm ready to know. Get to it. Y'all trying to sell these new sisters to us, then you get to selling. Cause anyway, Andy went to the hospital to see Sabrina. She being assisted to breathe because her lung collapsed, and that's got Andy all worked up, seeing all the oxygen and all the machines and everything hooked up to her or whatever. Then what kind of encouraging words is the nurse supposed to be giving? Because she talk about she seen patients suddenly take a turn for the worse. Girl, that ain't what you should be telling her. Then she tried to correct herself by saying she's seen patients in much worse condition than Sabrina, but then make a full recovery. But we trying to lean on the side of full recovery here, okay? I'm still holding on to this itty bitty strand of hair. It ain't even a string no more. It's so thin, it's a strand of hair, and I'm holding on to the little half an inch of it, okay? That Sabrina making. Anyway, Andy went on into Sabrina's IC room, and then later she came out and she ran into Dr. Vaughn, who was also about to check in on Sabrina when he finished making his rounds. She let Dr. Vaughn know Sabrina did make it through the night, which was a plus on their side because she needed to make it through the night. And he told Andy to keep the faith during Sabrina's long recovery. And I noticed on this season, they just talk real heavy about keeping the faith and all that kind of stuff and believing and praying. Child, Tyler Perry always got a message in the message. Is he trying to tell us something? Is he trying to tell us to keep the faith and not give up and keep on praying? Because, baby, I'm keeping the faith. I'm holding on. Andy filled him in on the car explosion that she had and the threatening text that she had got prior to the explosion. And Dr. Vaughn, like, you know why you didn't tell me, okay? And she told Dr. Vaughn the person responsible was hired by Dr. Cruz, whom he covered, who Dr. Vaughn had covered for. Now, child, how they done caught the person and didn't show us that? They should have gave us that little tidbit of tea to make the show more interesting, is them catching the person who did the car explosion or whatever, because baby, we knows it. We want to know. But Dr. Vaughn asked for another chance to explain if Andy could pull her head out of her ass for a minute. I'm glad he finally said it, because somebody needed to tell her, because sometimes she just need to listen and stop being so bullheaded. But anyway, she reluctantly went to have breakfast with him. Child, so did Andy have to wait that whole time while Dr. Vaughn changed clothes? Because when they got to breakfast where they was eating it, Dr. Vaughn was out of them scrubs, huh? As a first-year resident, while he was shadowing Dr. Cruz, he would question certain things. But Dr. Cruz led him to believe basically that he was wrong. You know, he the head doctor, head OBGYN, whatever he is, the chief. And so you shouldn't question him, okay? And Dr. Vaughn, being new, being young, was just trying to follow the procedures, follow the protocol. But he was a new physician, still learning, nervous, so he even doubted his own judgment. Now, he reluctantly agreed on one case because Dr. Cruz had decades of experience over him. So, like, who was he to question and challenge it? But after the fact, he did go back to the board of the hospital on behalf of the patient with concerns about her treatment because he was feeling some kind of way about it. They basically put Dr. Vaughn in his place for questioning the chief of that department on his treatment of the patients. Like I figured before, and I'm sure Dr. Vaughn probably threatened him too. He just didn't send it. But anyway, that's why Dr. Vaughn be trying to go behind Dr. Cruz now with his patients of color. And Andy has to remember that the color of Dr. Vaughn's skin is the same color as her skin. And he fighting his own uphill battle with the hospital when it comes to certain situations. Because of the investigation, though, Dr. Cruz has been put on an administrative leave. So at least he's not still there harming women and trying to kill folks. Because, baby, honey, I was just waiting for another story for them to be like, Dr. Vaughn did it again. And I'm like, child, what's going to happen? So the hospital has known Dr. Cruz has had issues and did nothing about it, which makes them also liable for negligence and everything else that they've been harming and committing and killing, unaliving people. I ain't supposed to say the K word, unaliving people. But anyway, Dr. Vaughn agreed to be a witness in Andy's case, even if it puts his job at jeopardy and on the line, because it's just the right thing to do. He just gonna have to hope the best come out of it, and he still have a job at the end of the day. Andy finally accepts Dr. Vaughn's reasons. Thank goodness. They have a little laugh, a little kiki together, and he just wants to get to know all of Andy, everything about her. He likes Andy a lot, and what Andy is doing for Karen and all the other women, he applauds. He really, I think he kind of look up to Andy in that aspect for her being so brave. But Andy finally makes it home, and Cheyenne laying up on the couch sleep with the kitchen dirty as usual. Andy woke her up, and Cheyenne couldn't wait to fuss about Andy telling Miss Valerie that she was in jail. Andy apologized for letting it slip to Miss Valerie that Cheyenne went to jail because she didn't purposely tell Miss Valerie. It just kind of slipped out. So Andy is looking for her mom, and Cheyenne had made her breakfast so she could take her meds. And then Miss Valerie went and laid down and have her little nap or whatnot. And Andy told Cheyenne, to clean up behind herself. Cheyenne talking about Andy should have a maid. She's a whole big time lawyer, got a big time career, what have you and whatnot. And Andy don't need no maid because baby, she cleans up behind herself. And she says she able to clean up behind Miss Valerie too, but Cheyenne need to clean up behind herself. So she did agree to let Cheyenne stay with her if she stays out of trouble, stop getting high, and she should have said, and then she clean up behind herself because the girl nasty. Honey, child, please clean up behind your doggone self. Leaving my kitchen dirty, talking about breaking in her new pots and pans. Well, hell, it don't mean she want to just lay around and be nasty and crusty. But Miss Valerie walked out and saw Andy and Cheyenne hugging, and that made her day, baby. She ran over there to them like red on Friday. Andy filled Miss Valerie in on her visit to the hospital while Cheyenne finally went and washed dishes because she's so happy Andy gonna let her stay. I guess she feel like she best clean some dishes up, okay? Miss Valerie feels Andy needs to believe and have faith. Y'all, it's again, we hear this all season long. Believe and have faith. And I'm going to need y'all to believe and have faith, okay? Danny is cleaning herself up from the altercation with Officer Green. She's highly traumatized and having flashbacks while she looks at her bruises and everything in the mirror. That goes on for a little bit. Then Tony came by to see her because he had talked to Rich, and Rich done told him, like, if you love her, you better appreciate it because the girl I love is in a coma right now. And so Tony thinking about that. I'm figuring he went over there because he thinking about Danny. Plus, he be missing her anyway. But Tony instantly knew something was wrong. After all, she did answer the door with a giant butcher knife. Danny was not in any mood for Tony to be coming in and belittling her today and talking about who, what, hadn't have you, or talking about nothing, honey. Tony noticed there had been some kind of struggle in Danny's apartment, and then she keeps flinching when he goes toward her or try to get close to her. And he wants to know, like, who put those bruises on her, what happened, what's going on. And Danny won't talk to Tony at all. So, like, he done got real worried because y'all know Danny, she always got something smart to say to do or whatever, but now she ain't talking. So Danny is embarrassed and ashamed because she cheated on Tony and he walked in on her and she got caught up, and she feel like she got what she deserved for being a disgusting person. I don't think being physically attacked, somebody trying to rape you, being abused, honey, is what you deserved. I don't think it's just not it. Tony keeps trying to talk to her, but she wants him to leave. He refused to leave her in that state of situation. Danny went and locked herself in the bathroom. Tony called Dr. Creasy to see if she could come over real quick, like ASAP, to talk to Danny because something was going on. So Tony waited until Dr. Creasy arrived. Before he left, he filled her in on Danny's behavior and everything that had been going on. And that she was going through a few things like with Sabrina being sick or what have you, but he don't think that's what triggered her. But Danny has definitely been triggered and something bad is going on. But Tony gonna leave for an hour and let Creasy see if she can find out what's wrong with Danny. Now, I think when Tony leave for that hour, maybe he gonna go home and grab his bag. Y'all know his infamous gym bag, and come back and stay with Danny because he still love her. He really worried. But Danny is crying, wishing she could talk to Sabrina, and surprised when Dr. Creasy knocks on the bathroom door, because matter of fact, she actually thinks it's Tony. But even more surprised that Tony is the one that called Dr. Creasy for her because he was worried, concerned, and cared, even though he caught her cheating. So Danny said, her cheating on Tony has been one of the worst mistakes to her life, and that one of the worst mistakes she's ever made. She was talking to Dr. Creasy because the guy she cheated on is a psycho. Well, Dr. Creasy wanted to know if Tony or anyone else had hurt her. She was showing signs of someone who has been like sexually assaulted or abused. And Danny is trying to figure out how she could have been sexually assaulted by someone she had consensual sex with. Yeah, she all bruised up. Cause baby, I'm gonna tell you, because you have consensual sex with somebody one time, it don't mean it get them the right to come take it from you anytime they feel like it or want to. Because you didn't have wasn't trying to have consensual sex with him. Then girl, that's not your man. I don't care if it is your man, but if you say no, no is no, okay? Danny still won't give Creisha any details. Dr. Creisha bound by law to report any abuse, and she know Danny been abused. She just can't get it out of Danny and get Danny to talk about it. Danny doesn't want to talk or think about nothing that happened, honey. She is like completely shut down, just does not want to communicate whatsoever. But Dr. Creisha knows Danny is in crisis mode, and Danny doesn't want to hurt herself or anyone else unless they try to hurt her first. Okay, I'm with Danny. I don't mess with nobody. I don't bother nobody. But if you come for me, but Creisha needs Danny to tell her if she was sexually assaulted, and Danny won't do it. She just shut down. She just trying to figure it out. Like, should she say it? And I'm hoping that she spit it out and tell Creisha what happened. But let's talk about what's next on Sistas. I did this kind of in a hurry, so I don't have all the preview details. I just had what was at the end of the show, so that's what we're going to go over, okay? Now, Danny thinks Tony hates her and finds her disgusting, but he actually does not hate her at all, and he trying to get her to understand that. Tony calls Rich, and he's angry with Danny, but he still loves her, and he explains that to Rich. Okay, Miss Valerie has been out with Mr. Keys, aka John, honey. And they done met up because Andy come out of her room like, where you been, honey? And she been out being fast. Then Madison Truitt is back at Fuel, sniffing around Rich like old hungry dog out the bone, child. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this whole situation. If Rich having a new love interest, I don't know if I'm feeling it. But anyway, Andy is with Danny trying to figure out what's going on with her and if she has been raped. And I'm so hoping that Danny will open up to her and talk to her. But we'll find out tonight. Well, today is Monday for me, so we'll find out Wednesday. And I can't wait to see, because Danny, I need you to open up and tell somebody what's going on, because I need Officer Green brought to justice, honey. And Andy is the person to talk to about it. But I hope somebody tell Creisha, because she's a professional and she'll have to report that. And that just can't go over the radar being reported. Honey, we got to get him. But we're going to see what else happened with this Miss Truitt and see how they going to play her in. I want them to go on and tell us what business she got other than her just popping up at Fuel, sniffing around. But anyway, that is it for today's Easy Convo. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay cozy and keep all that tea hot until our next Easy Convo. Love you guys.